Hi, I'm Sarah Cowgill, sitting in for Lisa K. Donner. And joining me today are Andrew Moran, Jeff Charles, Graham Noble, and Dave Patterson. This is the Conservative Five, Liberty Nation's online TV news program. Speaker of the House has spoken. It's time to let the young guns in the House take over leadership positions. But will she continue to seek office and stay involved for the people of San Francisco, or go home to the mister? The poor guy recently had a hammer whack upside the head, for pity's sake. Of course, Madam Speaker wants to retain power, but how? The bigger question is, who will rise to fill her high heels? And I think I want to start with Jeff. What do you got going on there? What do you think?
You know, it is nice to see the Democrats starting to let younger people take over. I wish the Republican Party would kind of take a hint from that too, Mitch McConnell. Anyway, but here's the thing. Here's what we're looking at. It's possibly going to be Hakeem Jeffries. He's the one that's getting a lot of the buzz, and if he ends up being the leader of the Democrats in the House, that will further signify that the Democrats are moving further to the left. He's a member of the Congressional Black Caucus, which is known for doing absolutely nothing for Black people. He's also a member of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, who is chaired by Pramila Jayapal. So this guy is pretty far to the left. He's from New York. So if he gets this position, it's going to be pretty significant in that it's going to show where the Democratic Party is headed. The results of these midterm elections did not give them enough of an incentive to go back towards the center. So they're going to double down now. And having him in that position would make even more sense if they do plan to go more further towards socialism.
What you got there, Dave? I know you've seen speakers come and go.
Well, I have to agree that it's time for the old guard to kind of step aside. But at the same time, I think that the younger crowd might take some lessons, because there's a reason why the old guard is called the old guard, because they have lasting power, and they have lasting power because they know how to do things and get things done. And I do think that it probably is time for the Republicans to put Mitch McConnell into a very nice pasture, but at the same time, not to lose his expertise, because quite frankly, we wouldn't have three Supreme Court associate justices had Mitch McConnell not worked his wiles.
Okay, so you're giving credit where due. I get that. Nice green pasture for McConnell.
A very nice pasture. I like that.
Very nice pasture. Graham, come on. You got to weigh in on this one.
Well, ditto to what everyone else has said. And I certainly believe that it is also time. And let's be perfectly honest here. From a Republican point of view, these midterm elections were a disaster. They really were. And to think that, although I personally predicted that, even though the Republican showing was from their point of view incredibly disappointing, I did predict that nevertheless the same people would continue to steer the party. Is it possible that someone will go? Maybe, but it looks like Kevin McCarthy has at least a very good chance of becoming Speaker of the House, and certainly Mitch McConnell is going to continue to be the leader of the Republicans in the Senate. So there's really no change there, and that is, I think, somewhat disappointing from a Republican perspective. The Democrats, Jeff is spot on. The Democrats, this changing of the guard, this passing of the torch, most likely, as Jeff points out, to Hakeem Jeffries, really does show that the party, and I said before that because of the results of the midterms, Democrats had not learned any lessons. They think somehow that they were kind of given a mandate by the American people to continue doing what they're doing. And certainly the likes of Mr. Jeffries is going to continue taking the Democrats down that road toward the extreme, I would say, ridiculous left.
What did anybody think of the speech she gave? I mean, she basically lumped in a couple of presidents and quoted, the Declaration of Independence here and there. But
I actually did like the fact that she kind of throughout the little speech managed to artfully work in constant cultural references to the cartoon Beavis and Butthead, with her little kind of between the during the pauses for applause. I thought that was kind of funny. I'm sure she did that just to give everyone a laugh.
I kind of wondered if she just at the last minute substituted that line that she was stepping down for. I gladly accept my party's desire to keep me as speaker. I think she was just waiting to see what was going to happen. I really think that her speech was highly prompted by, the investigation now that has been hurled at the Biden administration. So yeah, maybe she didn't want to be a part of that. I don't know. Andrew, what do you got?
I feel bad for the investors now, because now how the heck are they going to know how to trade stocks without Nancy Pelosi at the helm? I think this is also part of a broader discussion of term limits. You have these dinosaurs in office. You have these old decrepit people like me and Jeff who are just, they shouldn't be in office anymore. You have Chuck Grassley. What was he? He's 90. He's going to be 95 by the time his next term is over. Patrick Leahy of Vermont, who's been in nearly every Batman movie, is 80. Dick Durbin of Illinois is 76. I think Nancy Pelosi voted for the Spanish-American War. So all these people just need to step down.
Ouch.
And, that's about it. And, I really have nothing else to add, nothing more original to add, because I agree with all my panelists here that the old guard should just step down and elect new generation. But at the same time, I mean, who's part of the new generation? AOC? That's not quite flattering for the current generation.
I think.
I mean, where do we think we're going to go with any kind of, where are the Republicans going to take their, brief and fleeting control? What are they going to start with besides investigating the president? What else are they got? What do they have? Do they have solutions? Have they said what they want to do?
I think it's going to be interesting to see the direction that they go. You've got to look at it this way. The next 2 years is going to be, from a legislative point of view, it's going to be a kind of a twilight zone deal, because, the Republicans have control of the House now, but their margin of, their majority is actually smaller than what the Democrat majority was now. And so getting any legislation passed is going to be, interesting to say the least. And then, of course, the Democrats will have control of the Senate. So it's going to be a bit of a strange 2 years from that point of view. So therefore, it seems that the Republicans will, probably focus a very significant amount of time on investigations. But here's the thing: now that former President Trump has thrown his hat into the ring officially for 2024, the Republicans are going to look at where do they go in terms of the direction of the party. I mean, there's this major effort to kind of move away from Trump and perhaps go back to what the GOP was doing before Trump, which personally I don't think is a particularly great prospect. But are they going to do that, or keeping it in mind that Trump is now running for president and very likely may win the GOP nomination? Do they continue to move in the more kind of populist direction that Trumpism took them?
Well, I guess,
that killed the conversation.
I don't think Trump makes decisions lightly. And there's got to be a reason he thinks he can run and win. And I don't know what that reason is. And I don't know if the Democrats want him to run or don't want him to run. I can't get a read on it, and that's unusual in our line of work, but I really can't get a read on if they're terrified or if they're happy, if the Democrats are terrified or happy. So anybody want to weigh in on that one?
Well,
I
they're
think
probably happy. If
Trump-
you look at some of the toss-up races, I mean, Trump keeps touting his record of 200 wins or something, but I mean, that's nothing. The toss-up races, he had a 2-16 record. He couldn't get Mehmet Oz in Pennsylvania. He couldn't get Blake Masters in Arizona. He couldn't get Kerry Lake in Arizona. So, I mean, perhaps the Democrats are lucky or happy when it comes to the toss-up races.
I think that Trump is you get exactly what you see. People try to read things into what former President Trump says or the way he acts, but the fact is that when he comes out and he says his purpose is to bring America back to greatness, that's perfectly consistent with everything he has said from 2015. And I think his motivation is quite simple. He believes that he's the one that can do the things that need to be done to the exclusion of others. And there's not anything more complicated than that, I believe.
Well, guys, as we steer into the skid of going into this presidential term or this cycle, I know Nancy Pelosi isn't going to disappear anytime soon. I don't think. I just don't see it. But what an interesting world we're living in right now. So stay tuned, people. That's it for our Conservative 5 panel today. Check out our other C5 shows and segments on your favorite video platform: YouTube, Vimeo, Rumble. We're on them all. As well, Liberty Nation has its own Roku channel where you can see all of our TV productions. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to surf on over to libertynation.com. Special thanks to our fantastic editor and post coordinator, Frank Diorio. I'm Sarah Cowgill, filling in for Lisa K. Donner. Thanks for joining us today. This has been a production of libertynation.com, where truth is making a comeback.